And I declare some charges. That Saurus unit that he charged was visible still both to my other Saurus unit and my Stegodon, so they both charge in, and you can see they do a tremendous amount of damage. I'm actually also winning the battle over with the Sauruses, my smaller unit of Sauruses on the left. That's because I won combat last round and got to strike first. He had my Temple Guard, my Carnosaur, an old one, attacked his Temple Guard unit because he had to, and he challenged with his champion to force my attacks there, which was very wise. I tore the champion apart 6 ways to Sunday, got the wound and the 6 overkill, but he had 3 ranks, a standard, a battle standard, and outnumber, which means it was 6 to 6 and he had a musician. So I'm thinking, okay, no big deal, and I blow both my leadership rolls, and the big nasty Carnosaur gets run down by the Slan and Temple Guard unit. So that's kind of where we were at the end of my turn. On his turn, he moves his pterodons over behind and throws javelins at this other unit. The pterodons are just trying to march block and slow things down. You can't see it, but over on the right, I also charged both my pterodons and my skinks into his skink unit. And I think he thought I would engage in an archery battle, but with the pterodons, I had the advantage, so I attacked and wiped out the skinks on the right. So he's down to only these 4 units you see here. I've also got pterodons and skinks on the right. The skinks don't play any other part in the game. They just hang out there to claim a table quarter. This is the last of the real blurry pictures. I had started to try to take at least 2 shots of each, 2 pictures each time I'm going to take one, so I can use the better. In this case, I only took 1, and of course it was blurry. What it's mostly trying to show is that the unit he had of Sauruses on Saurus warriors on the right has been eliminated. The units on the left are once again tearing each other apart. So this happens during his turn, so now it's my turn. On my turn, my Sauruses that had pursued and overrun his last couple Temple Guard from the right unit is able to charge the left unit. If you look carefully, you'll see I have 3 of my blue Saurus warriors left. Only 3, that's it. And my Skink and Crossbow unit has moved up to support that unit. The other units are moving up. Those 2 Sauruses that are kind of hanging out there and back in front of my orange unit are actually casualties. He just hasn't moved those off the table yet. I've backed up with my cavalry. I want to do a combined charge on those Temple Guard, and because I know that with stubborn, I just need to wipe out a lot of them. And there's not really going to be much he can do about it. So that's kind of where we are. So on his turn, he declares a charge with his Temple Guard unit on those little 3 Sauruses that are left, which I'm actually kind of glad about. I flee. He doesn't quite have range with the wheel to get the enemy in the way charge against my Skinks and Croxiger. You see that's where he ended up after the failed charge, and my 3 Sauruses fled into those into his pterodons which he had back there and were destroyed. So this is getting ready for my turn. I've peeled off 1 or 2 of his Temple Guard with my shooting attacks, but not a lot of them. I had rolled misfires and eaten a bunch of my own skinks, and then he flew his pterodons over and threw javelins and killed the last skink. Unfortunately for him, I got the cower result, so I become my 2 salamanders will spin and use their breath weapon on whoever's appropriate, which they spend the rest of the game basically trying to spit at those pterodons and not doing much. But they're also unbreakable there on the body, so there's not much he can do about my salamanders either. So my turn, I do the big combined charge, and the charge works very well in that I just obliterate a lot of the Temple Guard between rolling really well. I rolled, of my 9 attacks with my cavalry, including the champion, I got 8 hits and 7 wounds, and he wasn't able to save many of them. I got a whole bunch of impact hits, so but as long as he has at least one Temple Guard left, he's stubborn with a reroll. So he's not going anywhere until I kill him off. And my charge is great. I'm thinking, hey, we've only got a couple battle segments left, but I'm probably going to get this. He shifts around, and after blowing a lot of armor saves the last round, you can see I've lost another cavalry. He's making all the armor saves this round. Now there's so few of his unit left, a bunch of my guys aren't in combat. I'm no longer getting all that many attacks as I did when it first happened, and I'm not charging anymore. The attacks on the Slan, he's ward saving a bunch of them. On the Temple Guard, he's bouncing a bunch of them. This is his turn 6, and he's moved over. So I've got one turn of combat left to finish, and I don't finish it. So end of the game is that he has one Temple Guard guy left and one wound left on his Slan, and so I only get half points for those 2 units. That made a difference. I give my opponent credit. He was fighting to the very end, even once things started going bad. And he realized that by hanging back with his Slan and Temple Guard originally, and with that failed charge on the Engine of the Gods, he found himself pretty much outnumbered, because between the Engine of the Gods that was gone and the Temple Guard and Slan that were hanging back and not having a very effective magic phase, that's 1,000 points of a 2,250 point army, and most of my army is fighting, and so it's his remaining elements are just overwhelmed. Because he basically comes at me piecemeal. I'm able to fight 200. I'm able to fight with local advantage, local superiority every place we're having battles. So, but he was a very good sport, and by hanging out and doing what he could to the very end, the units he did manage to kill, and the saves he made. I ended up winning Best General, which was effectively second place to Best Overall. And the difference was that I didn't finish those last couple units. So, hey, fighting to the end usually can have an effect, and I give my opponent a ton of credit. It was an absolutely phenomenal tourney, and I hope you enjoyed the battle reports.